she? Oh, here she is. How are you, Liara?
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
Yeah, just want to make sure if you're okay with everything.
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
She's the best for a reason.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
Don't worry. You're in safe hands with
I'm
us.
just glad we got there in time.
So am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
I know you will, and that's all you can do. Just earn your way on this ship.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
That sounds more interesting than, like, fucking archaeology. I mean, technically that is what archaeology is, but, you know.
Sounds dangerous. And lonely.
Sometimes I would run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumble across a small band of mercenaries or privateers, but I was always careful. Until the Geth followed me to Artemis Tau, I never found myself in any situation my biotics could not handle. As for the solitude, well, that is one aspect that most appealed to me. Sometimes I just need to get away from other people.
I know how that feels. You're a self-body, basically. You prefer to de-stress alone. That's understandable.
You don't like other people?
I suppose it comes from being a matriarch's daughter. People expected me to follow in Benezia's footsteps. They wanted me to become a leader of our people. Matriarchs guide their followers into the future. They seek the truth of what is yet to come. Maybe that's why I became so interested in the secrets of the past. It sounds so foolish when I say it out loud. It sounds like I became an archaeologist simply to spite Benezia.
Well, an awful lot of young girls do that to their mums. They kind of spite them out of just wanting to be different. Don't know why.
All children rebel against their parents. It's a natural part of growing up.
Aha, you share the wisdom of the matriarch, Shepard. That is exactly what Benezia said when I told her of my decision. But there was more to it than that. I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them. That is why I find you so fascinating. You were marked by the beacon on Eden Prime. You were touched by working Prothean technology.
You think I'm fascinating?
Sounds like you want to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No! I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepard.
Easy.
I only meant
I'm
that you
not
would be an
offended.
interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Don't try and study me. What the fuck? Relax. It's okay.
Calm down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool. Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people
But
believe
that was
we are
funny
all
when
part
your
of a single
mother decided
galactic
to become
community.
evil.
Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us.
Right.
We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
That's right, and your child still comes out Asari. Interesting. Why would I say that's disgusting? You can be a right rude bastard in this, bloody hell.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Yep.
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
It is interesting, like, being able to be, like, in a relationship with someone like that where you feel like you're completely and utterly accepted by them. You know, down to your racial traits, down to your DNA, basically. Like, it's really the bare bones of, like, your genetics, basically. It's interesting.
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
Mass Effect really did see that situationships would be a fucking thing in the future, unfortunately. Whoever came up with fucking situationships is so stupid, honestly. Who was your father?
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
Oh, really?
I thought you always needed another species to serve as one of the parents.
Think about it, Shepard. If we were not able to mate with our own species, we would have died out long before we ever mastered spaceflight and left our homeworld. Union with
That's
our
true.
own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters
Really?
inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood, though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face. It is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
That's interesting. That's such a different concept to how racism is currently and how it was back in the day. Like, you know, imagining like interracial couples back in the day, like we're talking like 1930s, 1920s, or even up to like 1960s. Why people like hate on other people just because of race, I don't know. It's just so bollocks. We all bleed the same freaking color, so I don't understand why it's like that, basically. But in this situation, it's like they shame them for being with their own species. It's very fascinating the way it's switched on its head like that. That's terrible.
How could anyone abandon their own child?
I cannot answer that. This is all speculation.
Oh, I'll tell
on
you
my
how
part.
it's easy to abandon
It is
their own child.
possible she wanted
One of
to
my
be part
parents
of
did
my
it.
life, but something
Yeah.
happened to her before she had the chance.
Feels good.
Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
How did they deal with that?
You Asari live for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Wow.
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We
You're
have
like
learned
the
to take
elves
a
of Middle Earth.
philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them.
That's the
And
best
even
way of
after
doing
they're
it.
gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
Well, I mean, it would be. We gave you a daughter. So, of course, that child would then live on because you took the racial traits from them. But in a specific sense.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
Maybe she's evil? You sound troubled by
This
it.
hurts you, doesn't it?
None of this makes any sense to me. I have not spoken to Benezia in many years, but I know her, and this was not like her. Something changed.
Maybe she was just seduced by Zarin. But either way, it's been nice talking with you, Liara.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
You take care now. Yeah, it's interesting. Like the whole mating rituals between different species, that's something really not explored enough. And I don't mean like that in a pervy way. I'm really fascinated by that, because it really questions like how something like that is so enriched in the culture of different species, basically, you know.
It's Saren. I'm starting to wonder whether we'll ever find him. He's always one step ahead of us, and he's got those damn Geth.
Don't worry, we'll get him.
We're getting close, Garrus. We'll find him.
I wish I had your confidence. I just can't stand the thought of him getting away with everything he's done. I know you're doing everything you can, and if anyone can catch him, it's you, but if there's anything else I can do to help, anything, just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it.
I appreciate it, Garrus. Thank you.
Thank you, Garrus. I'll keep that in mind. Just make sure you're ready to go when we do catch him.
Yes, sir. I'll be ready.
Good man.
Can I ask you something, Commander?
Of course.
What is it?
Are you worried that the Council might be protecting Saren? I mean, they were really dragging their heels before. What if we find him, bring him back to the Citadel, and they refuse to act?
It's possible.
You seem to have some thoughts on this. Speak your mind, Garrus.
Well, maybe we shouldn't give them the chance, Commander. In my opinion, Saren's too dangerous to be kept alive. Too much could happen. He could escape, or the Council might let him go. If we find him, when we find him, I say we make sure we stop him permanently.
I agree with you.
I'm glad you see it that way. I never had any intention of capturing that bastard. When I see him, he dies.
Good. The Council won't like it, but they can't stop you either. You see, this is why I want to be a Spectre. You never have to worry about bureaucratic idiots making a mess of everything.
Just make sure you're ready when it happens.
Yes, sir.
And take care, mate. We'll be sure to take him down.
Commander,
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
I'm off duty until tomorrow. I was gonna have a small drink. Bit of a celebration. If you're interested.
That's contraband.
I'm on duty. Have anything without alcohol?
You're always on duty, Shepard. It's Armistice Day, when the First Contact War ended. My family always marks it. Since I'm the only Williams aboard, I thought I'd ask you.
Why celebrate?
Seems like an odd thing to celebrate. That was 26 years ago.
In our
That
family,
short?
it's not really a celebration,
Wow.
more like an obligation. Don't tell me you don't know about my family. My commanders always find out. It's not in my files or something?
Your files are clean.
There's almost nothing in your files. Technical scores and a list of crap assignments.
There's a reason for the crap assignments. I'm General Williams' granddaughter, the commander of the Shanxi garrison in the war. The only human ever to surrender to an alien race.
That's why you're so uppity about aliens. Ah, that makes sense.
I see. That's why you drive yourself so hard.
A Williams has to be better than the best, if only to avoid suspicion.
Ugh,
That's what my dad told me the night before he retired. Takes a special
you had a real
kind of
hard ass of a
big
father
to
then.
march into a job where your family's blacklisted. I did it anyway. I'm not gonna let our name go down with Arnold and Quisling. Granddad deserved better than that.
Look, I understand that you want to do the best by your father and grandfather and by your grandfather, but coming across like, oh, I want to be the best of the best, I got to be the best of the best, I've got to be the best of the best. There's always going to be someone better than you, no matter what you do. It can be true, it can be real, but you have to understand that someone will always better you. And you can fight as long as you can, but there comes a time when you get old and some young buck is going to come up through that rank and knock you off that pedestal. And then where have you got to go? 10 feet down, straight on your ass, basically. So a little bit of humility really goes a long way with being in that position. But I understand putting yourself to a higher degree of a level, basically. That's why you dislike aliens.
Is this why you're always going on about the council?
If everyone else can look at Shanxi and say, this is why humanity needs to be stronger, then so can I. I'm entitled. So now you know. Gonna kick me off the ship, Skipper?
Of course not.
You're part of the team, Williams. I don't care what your grandfather did or didn't do.
Not to get all cheesy, but you're the first CEO who's ever said that to me. Thanks, Skipper. But anyway, I've got things to do before we land. I'm sure you do too.
Dismissed, Chief.
Sir.
Yeah. How are you, Rex?
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Elaborate.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
Why
Why'd
not
you
stay
leave?
and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
I see.
What happened?
I
You
was
were betrayed. Yeah. Happens.
I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
You clearly don't see it that way.
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up, to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, the genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes. A meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from, and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
I'm guessing they broke that promise as well.
It sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
I forgot Jared was his father.
Jared was your father?
He was. Until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Rex.
You must have family other than your father. Don't you miss them?
You trying to make me cry, Shepard?
I don't think you can, to be honest.
I've got some unfinished business with my family, but that's all.
What kind of business?
Before I left, I made an oath to my father's father. I swore to recover my family's battle armor. It was taken from him after the uprising.
Who has it?
Originally, it was taken by the Turian military. We weren't allowed armor or weapons after the war. Now, it's in the hands of Ton Actus, a Turian scum who collects relics from the war. He's made millions selling Krogan artifacts that were stolen from my people. He's got several bases where he stores his goods, all fortified and guarded. I just don't know which base has my family's armor.
I'll see if I can look for it, Rex.
Just tell me where to start looking.
I'll upload the data to your nav system. But Commander, I want to be there when you find him.
What can you tell me about the Genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you ask a Krogan? It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Take care, buddy. I'll see if I can find that armor for you, no problem. Wow, what a plight. Killed his own dad. Don't blame him.
It feels like we're getting near the end, doesn't it, Shepard? With Saren, I mean.
I do hope so.
It won't be much longer. One way or another, it'll all be over soon.
You'll find the conduit before he does. I know you will. You have to. And after this is all over, when my pilgrimage ends and I go back to my own people, I'll be proud to say I was a part of it.
We couldn't have done this without you, Telly.
You've been good to me. A lot of people treat Quarians like second-class citizens. They just want us to go back to our fleet and disappear. But you've treated me just like everyone else on your crew. Like an equal. That means a lot, and it says something about you. Whatever happens, I just want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome, Tali.
I'm going to miss you when you go back to your own people, Telly.
That won't happen for a while yet. I'll be right here anytime you need me.
I love that woman, I love that woman, I love that woman, I love that woman! She's got me, like, twiddling my toes, you know? You ever have that feeling when you meet a girl and you just get on with her so much? She makes my toes, like, flutter, you know? She makes my feet, like, go up and down all suddenly, you know? It's just something about her. She's just so sweet and so inquisitive and so wholesome, you know? She's just, ugh. Listen to me, I sound like a fucking schoolboy. God, if I was on the playground now, I'd be pulling her hair and pushing her on the ground right now. That's how it feels, man. That's how it literally feels.
Good timing, Commander. We got a transmission coming in from the Citadel. Top priority clearance.
Who's it from?
Is it the Ambassador?
It's not his signature. I think it's from the Council. I'll patch it through to the comm room.
Commander Shepard, we've received information that may be critical to your mission against Saren.
I'll take all the help
Go
I
on,
can
then.
get.
We've received an urgent message from one of our infiltration regiments in the Traverse.
Go ahead.
I'm listening.
We currently have several infiltration units scattered throughout the border regions of Citadel space. This particular unit was gathering intel on Saren.
What did they find?
Unfortunately, the message we received was little more than static. The infiltration team must be in a situation where they can't set up proper interstellar communications. But the message was sent on a channel reserved for mission-critical communications. Whatever they were trying to tell us, we know it was important. Considering your interest in Saren, we thought you might want to investigate this. Find out what happened to our team. The signal originated from the planet Vermeer.
Of course.
I'll look into it.
The Council prefers not to become involved in the specifics of Spectre activities. We only want you to be aware of all your options, including Vermeer. Good luck, Commander Shepard. We will keep you advised if we learn anything else.
Interesting for them to reach out to me like this. Something's going on. They must have a stake in Vermeer by the sounds of it. Now, I have played this, but this was like over 7 odd years ago. Maybe 8, maybe 10. I'm not so sure. I can't even remember when this game came out, to be honest. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Alright, we got Liara. We are set.
This is the place. My armor's here somewhere. This is it. I can't believe my ancestors ever wore this piece of crap. But at least I've got it back.
I'm glad we could help you get it back.
I might just be starting to like you, Shepard.
Well, I might just be starting to like you, you old blub, you. You alright, Garrus?
Shepard?
Yeah, he's all good. How are you, Rex?
Shepard?
You must have family other than your father. Don't you miss them?
No. Now that I have my family's armor again, there's nothing left for me.
Well, I'm happy for you,
So
mate.
long, Rex.
Shepard.
Okay, let's go see how Tally's holding up. Hey, Tally.
Hey, Shepard. Do you need something?
No options. I'm sad.
I should go.
See you later.
I just want to chat with you, Tally.